Hey everyone! Before we dive into today's story, please hit that subscribe button on my channel to stay updated with more gripping tales like this one. On Thanksgiving Day at 3:47 p.m., a startling email landed in my inbox. The subject line screamed, "Urgent, unauthorized patent rights transfer detected, federal investigation underway." I was lounging in my parents' cozy living room in suburban Chicago, enveloped by the familiar whirlwind of our family's holiday gathering. My older sister, Victoria, commanded attention from the main couch, animatedly recounting her latest triumph, a hefty commission from selling a lakefront mansion. My brother-in-law, James, chimed in occasionally, boasting about his hedge fund's impressive quarterly gains. My younger brother, Kyle, was busy flaunting pictures from his extravagant Monaco getaway, funded by his so-called cryptocurrency ventures. My parents glowed with pride, basking in the success of their 3 children, or rather, 2 of them. I was the third, the quiet one, the one whose tech-related job they never fully grasped or cared to explore. "Sarah's into that tech support stuff, isn't she?" Aunt Linda had remarked earlier, and no one bothered to correct her. I'd long stopped trying. Let them think I troubleshoot printers for a living. The truth was far more intricate. I'm a research engineer focused on renewable energy systems. For 6 years, I'd poured my expertise into developing cutting-edge solar panel technology, a unique photovoltaic cell design that boosted energy conversion by 43% while slashing production costs by 60%. The patent applications were submitted 2 years ago, approved 8 months back, and just 3 weeks prior, I'd received word that a major energy consortium was keen to license the technology. Their initial valuation, a jaw-dropping $5 million for the patent rights, plus royalties. I hadn't shared this with my family. Why would I? They'd made it crystal clear over the years that my work was too complex to matter. Victoria sold tangible homes. James managed countable wealth. Kyle, well, he rambled about crypto, though I doubted his grasp went beyond the buzzwords. My work? Designing solar panel systems, publishing technical papers, and securing patents on electron flow optimization. Dull, unflashy, irrelevant. That's what my dad declared 3 years ago at Christmas dinner when I tried explaining my research. Nice. "Sarah, but when will you work on something that actually pays?" I stopped trying to clarify after that. Now, sitting in their living room, phone in hand, I read the email again. "Ms. Chin, our systems have flagged an unauthorized transfer of patent rights for U.S. patent #10, 847-392. Advanced photovoltaic cell configuration for enhanced energy conversion. The transfer, executed on November 23rd, involves selling the rights to Tech Venture Capital LLC for $50,000. As the registered patent holder, you did not authorize this. A federal investigation has been launched per 35 U.S.C. Section 292. USPTO enforcement officers are en route to the listed address. Please confirm your location and availability for an immediate interview." I glanced up. Dad was by the fireplace, regaling Uncle Bob with some tale, his chest puffed with pride. Mom's voice drifted from the kitchen. $50,000. They'd sold my patent, worth $5 million, for $50,000. I rose slowly, phone clutched tightly, and approached my father. "Dad, can we talk for a second?" He brushed me off without a glance. Later. "Sarah, I'm in the middle of something with your uncle. It's important." "So is this," I pressed. He turned back to Uncle Bob. "As I was saying, sometimes you have to make tough calls for your kids, even grown ones, especially when they don't get how business works." A chill settled in my gut. "What kind of calls?" His gaze met mine, laced with that familiar blend of patience and superiority. "We'll tell you after dinner, honey. It's good news." Mom emerged from the kitchen, drying her hands on a towel. "Oh, are we sharing now?" "Sarah, your father and I did something amazing for you." Victoria perked up from the couch. "What's this about?" Dad raised his hand, quieting the room. Kyle set his phone down. James paused, bourbon glass in hand. Even Aunt Linda looked up from her iPad. "Sarah's been tinkering with some tech thing. Solar panels, computers, something like that," Dad began. "She filed patents for it. We found the documents in her old room last month while cleaning. That room where I'd stored backup copies of my patent paperwork in a filing cabinet, complete with patent numbers, my attorney's details, and my digital signatures on USB CHIO forms. We realized, Mom continued, that Sarah isn't business savvy. She's brilliant with her tech stuff, but she doesn't know how to turn it into money. So we stepped in, Dad announced, beaming. We found a buyer, Tech Venture Capital. They offered $50,000 for the patent rights. The room burst into cheers. Victoria clapped, Kyle whistled, Uncle Bob raised his glass. $50, 000, James said, nodding. Solid return for what was probably a small investment. Nice job. I stood frozen. You sold my patent. We did, Dad confirmed, still smiling. The money hits our account Monday. After taxes, you'll probably get about $35,000. That's more cash than you've ever had, right? When did this happen? I asked. Signed the papers yesterday, Mom said. We wanted it to be a Thanksgiving surprise. Aren't you thrilled? I glanced at my phone at the email's words. Federal investigation initiated. How did you sign the papers? The patent's in my name. I'm the sole inventor, the only one who can legally transfer those rights. Dad waved dismissively. We used the power of attorney from when you were in college for some banking stuff. It's still valid. That power of attorney was for closing one savings account. It expired in 2019 and was never valid for intellectual property. It worked for Tech Venture Capital, Dad said, a hint of defensiveness creeping in. They accepted it. It's all legal. Victoria leaned forward. Sarah, you should be thankful. Mom and Dad did you a huge favor. $50,000 for some solar panel idea? That's amazing. Most inventors get nothing. They were worthless anyway, Mom added. Solar panels are everywhere. What's special about yours? I took a deep breath, steadying myself. My solar panels improve efficiency by 43% and cut manufacturing costs by 60%. It's a game changer for renewable energy. Kyle laughed. Come on, Sarah. If it was that good, you'd be rich by now. I was in talks with an energy consortium. Their initial offer was $5 million for licensing, plus $2 to $3 million in annual royalties. Silence fell. Dad's face reddened. $5 million? The formal offer was due next week, I said. That's impossible, Victoria snapped. If it was worth that much, someone would have told you. They did. The consortium's lawyers, 3 weeks ago. I have the emails. Mom's laugh was shaky. Sarah, you must have misunderstood. Patents aren't worth millions for regular people. For breakthrough renewable energy tech with proven industrial applications, they are, I countered. James was on his phone, his face paling. U.S. patent 10,847,392. Filed by Dr. Sarah Chin. Approved 8 months ago. He looked at me. Dr. Sarah Chin? I earned my PhD in electrical engineering 4 years ago. I'm a senior research engineer at the National Renewable Energy Laboratory. You said you did tech support, Aunt Linda mumbled. No, you assumed that. I stopped correcting you. Dad sank into a chair. It was worth $5 million. Was, I corrected. You sold it for $50,000, 1% of its value. That's either fraud by Tech Venture Capital, or they didn't know what they bought, which seems unlikely for an investment firm. My phone buzzed. Another email, ETA 12 minutes. Federal agents and USB CHIO enforcement en route. Please remain at location. I held up my phone. The USB CHIO's enforcement team is coming. Their systems flag unauthorized high-value patent transfers. Federal investigators are involved. Mom whispered. Federal investigators? Patent fraud is a federal crime under 35 U.S.C. Section 292. Unauthorized patent transfers are intellectual property theft. Using expired authorization is fraud. You used an expired power of attorney to sell $5 million of my intellectual property to a firm that either knew it was stolen or should have known, given the price. Victoria stood. This is ridiculous. We're your family. We were helping you. By stealing my patent and selling it for 1% of its worth? We didn't know it was worth that much. Did you ask me? Call, email, text? Say, hey, Sarah, we found your patent papers. Can we discuss? Silence. You assumed my work was worthless because you couldn't understand it. So you helped by committing federal crimes. Dad's voice was rough. We'll fix this. We'll call Tech Venture, cancel the sale. You can't, I said. It's filed with the USPTO. Tech Venture has the rights now. The enforcement division is investigating. Kyle was scrolling frantically. Sarah Chin, renewable energy patents. There are articles about you. Journals, conferences. You won a Department of Energy award last year. Yes. Why didn't you tell us? Mom asked, tears welling. I tried. 6 years ago, I explained my work at Christmas. Dad said it was boring, wouldn't make money. 3 years ago, I mentioned filing patents. Victoria said patents were for real innovations, not my computer stuff. Last year, I brought up the consortium's interest. James said I was probably being scammed because real investors don't contact people like me. Each word hit like a hammer. My family's faces showed shock, then guilt. You made it clear my work was worthless because you couldn't grasp it, I said. So I stopped sharing. I kept working, researching, succeeding, despite you, not because of you. The doorbell rang. Everyone flinched. I opened the door to 4 figures, 2 in FBI windbreakers, 2 with USPTO badges. Dr. Sarah Chin, the lead agent, asked. Yes, I'm Special Agent Martinez, FBI Cyber and Intellectual Property Division. This is Agent Wong and investigators Harrison and Patel from the USPTO. We're here about the unauthorized transfer of U.S. Patent 10,847,392. Come in, I said, leading them to the living room. My family sat stunned as the agents filled the space. Martinez pulled out a tablet. Dr. Chin, can you confirm you didn't authorize the transfer to Tech Venture Capital? Correct. I was negotiating a $5 million licensing deal with Solaris Energy Consortium. I'd never sell for $50,000. Harrison checked her notes. The transfer used a power of attorney signed by Howard and Margaret Chin. Your parents? Yes. They used an expired 2017 power of attorney for a savings account closure, invalid for intellectual property. How did they access the patent details? They found backup documents in my old bedroom from a move 3 years ago, including patent numbers and attorney info. Agent Wong faced my parents. Mr. and Mrs. Chin, did you transfer Dr. Chin's patent rights? Dad croaked, yes, but we didn't know. Did you know the power of attorney was expired? Silence. Did you know the patent's value? No, Mom said. We thought it was worth a few thousand. We were helping. Martinez noted, Tech Venture's USPTO filing valued the patent at $4.7 million. Their subpoenaed documents show they knew its worth. My stomach sank. They knew. They contacted your parents after spotting the patent in public records, likely tracing it to your family address, Martinez continued. They offered $50,000, knowing its true value. Investigator Patel produced handcuffs. Howard and Margaret Chin, you're under arrest for patent fraud under 35 U.S.C. Section 292, intellectual property theft under 18 U.S.C. Section 1832, and wire fraud under 18 U.S.C. Section 1343. Mom sobbed. Dad's hand shook. Wait, he pleaded. We didn't mean to. You used fraudulent authorization to transfer $5 million in intellectual property without consent, Martinez said. That's theft and fraud, intent or not. Victoria protested. You can't arrest them. She can approve it now. Harrison shook her head. The fraud lies in using expired authorization for a high-value transfer. Even if Dr. Chin forgave them, the crimes stand. Tech Venture's involvement ties this to a broader patent fraud investigation. My phone buzzed, an email from my attorney. Sarah, USPTO alert received. Solaris Energy will maintain their offer despite the transfer issue. Federal court will void the fraudulent transfer. You'll retain rights, but your family faces prosecution. Call me. I looked up as agents read my parents their Miranda rights. Mom clung to Dad, sobbing. Dad looked broken. Kyle whispered, Sarah, fix this. Fix what? Tell them I approved it? They committed federal crimes. They're our parents. They're also people who stole $5 million from me and sold it to criminals running a fraud scheme. Should that go unpunished because we're related? Victoria snapped. You let them go to prison? I'm not sending them to prison. Their actions are. They chose to snoop through my documents, contact a buyer, sign papers, and deposit $50,000. James, who'd been quiet, spoke up. Tech Venture's been under investigation for 6 months. They target inventors, approach families with low offers, exploit legal loopholes, and resell patents at market value. They've done this 17 times. The FBI is building a RICO case. Martinez nodded. Your family stumbled into an ongoing investigation. Tech Venture targeted Dr. Chin's patent for its value and your family's address in public records, betting you wouldn't consult her. Dad protested. We didn't know. You didn't ask, I said. You saw my work, assumed it was worthless, and sold it without a word to me. That's not a mistake. That's criminal negligence. Mom, now handcuffed, pleaded. Sarah, don't let them do this. For a fleeting moment, my heart wavered. These were my parents, who'd raised me, funded my education, loved me in their flawed way. But then I recalled 6 years of dismissal. My work reduced to that computer thing, their pride in Victoria's deals, James' wealth, Kyle's crypto boasts, while my breakthroughs were ignored. Dad calling my work unprofitable. Victoria saying it wasn't real innovation. Mom asking when I'd get a normal job. I was the invisible daughter. My achievements too complex to matter. Agent Martinez, I said firmly. I want to press full charges. I'll cooperate fully and sue for damages against my parents and Tech Venture Capital. Mom wailed. Dad's face collapsed. Victoria fumed. You're vindictive. I'm their daughter, the one they stole from, whose 6 years of work they sold for pennies, assuming I was too clueless to know better. Agent Wong spoke into his radio. Transport ready for 2 suspects. Need forensic accounting here. Seize financial records, devices, and Tech Venture documents. More agents arrived, photographing the room, collecting laptops and phones. Uncle Bob tried. Sarah, they made a mistake. Mistakes are accidental. This was deliberate. They deliberately rifled through my files, contacted a buyer, signed papers, and cashed out. Kyle made a final plea. What about Thanksgiving? Family. I scanned the room. The furniture bought with Victoria's commissions, James' Rolex, Kyle's designer clothes, my parents in handcuffs. What about 6 years of being invisible? Of my work being called worthless? Of achievements ignored because they weren't cocktail party bragging rights? No one replied. Family, I said, should care about my work, even if you don't understand it. You should have asked before selling my life's work. You should have treated me like an adult who knows her own worth. Martinez handed me a card. Dr. Chin, we'll need you at the federal building tomorrow with all patent and Solaris Energy documentation. Of course, she added softly, your patent will be returned. The transfer will be voided. Solaris Energy will honor their offer. You'll be okay. Thank you. She glanced at my parents, now being led to FBI vehicles. Family cases are tough, but $5 million is $5 million and fraud is fraud. After they left, the house was quiet, save for Aunt Linda's soft sobs and the sound of evidence collection. I grabbed my coat. Where are you going? Victoria demanded. To my apartment. I have a call with Solaris Energy's lawyers tomorrow. Then the FBI. Then patent restoration paperwork. You're just leaving? What should I do? Pretend this didn't happen? Bail out the parents who stole $5 million from me. Kyle muttered, you've changed, Sarah. You used to be nice. I haven't changed. I just stopped caring more about your opinions than reality. I stepped into the chilly November night. My phone rang, likely my attorney, the U.S. Specchio, or Solaris Energy. I had calls to make, documents to prepare, a federal case to support. Behind me through the window, my family stood frozen in their lavish living room, surrounded by FBI evidence bags and the ruins of their assumptions. They thought my work was worthless because they couldn't comprehend it. They thought they were helping by selling it for pennies. They thought $50,000 was a triumph for my little invention. They were wrong, catastrophically wrong. And now they'd face years in federal court, maybe prison, learning just how wrong. I drove off. I had a $5 million patent to reclaim, a deal to finalize with an energy consortium, and a career in renewable energy to keep building, without my family's understanding or approval. For 6 years, I'd succeeded on my own. I'd keep doing what I always did, creating value they couldn't see, forging a future they never believed in. The only difference now, the federal courts had proof of my worthless work's true value, and my family had a $50,000 fraud conviction to show for their mistake. Thanksgiving was ruined, but my patent and my future were secure.